The silence of a press room can collapse in an instant. One sharp question, fired at a reigning four-time champion who has already stacked up 64 Grand Prix victories, can split the air like shrapnel. That is exactly what happened in Jeddah when Sky Sports commentator David Croft looked Max Verstappen squarely in the eye and asked whether the Red Bull talisman might really walk away. Verstappen's cool retort, telling Croft to stick to commentating while he stuck to driving, ricocheted far beyond Saudi Arabia's moonlit circuit, sparking a debate about journalism, loyalty, and the fine line between curiosity and provocation. Let us rewind the tape, peel back the layers of that moment, and discover why Croft refuses to holster his microphone, no matter how loud the backlash becomes. Whispers in the paddock can roar louder than a turbocharged V6. Weeks before the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko suggested that if the team's performance ever dipped, their star driver might bolt. In a championship where fractions of a second crowned dynasties, Marko's caution landed like a flare. Suddenly, every corridor conversation hinged on a single question. Could the sport's most dominant driver really abandon the car that carried him to 4 consecutive titles? Commentators, strategists, and rival team principals all speculated at full volume, while Verstappen kept his cards pressed to his chest. By the time the Jeddah press conference rolled around, Marko's musings had mutated into a headline monster hungry for confirmation or denial. Fans smelled blood, and reporters sharpened their phrasing. Nobody planned to let the Dutchman dodge the topic without a chase. Is Helmut simply misreading you, Max, or are you genuinely eyeing the exit? Croft's voice cut through the brightly lit room like a scalpel. Cameras captured the flicker of annoyance, or was it amusement, in Verstappen's eyes. A heartbeat later came the line heard round the world. Croft should focus on commentating. Verstappen would focus on driving, and there was no need to imagine other scenarios. The jab was delivered with a faint grin, yet its echo was thunderous. Within minutes, clip after clip flooded timelines. Some fans applauded the champion's composure. Others accused Croft of needling for clicks. The sentence was short, but the aftershocks were long, as if a single spark had hit puddles of petrol scattered across the internet. David Croft has narrated more than 370 races since 2006, and each one sharpened his instinct for the moment truth teeters on a microphone tip. He calls his craft detective work at 300 kilometers per hour, a whirlwind of lap charts, telemetry blips, and dozens of live camera feeds. When storylines swirl, he presses. When answers duck, he follows. Croft later told The Times that he expected Verstappen to brush off the first query, so he nudged again, because unanswered rumours only grow darker. Years of respectful rapport with the Dutchman gave him confidence the exchange would stay playful, not poisonous. And he was right. The champion left the room smiling. Yet, Croft accepts that visibility invites venom. In public life, he says, you need the skin of a rhinoceros. Social media can turn a snowflake into an avalanche before sunrise. By midnight, Verstappen loyalists pounced on Croft's persistence, calling it antagonistic, biased, even nationalistic. An echo of complaints once voiced by ex-Red Bull designer Adrian Newey. Croft fired back politely. His duty is to chase stories, not shelter anyone from scrutiny. He reminds critics that every viewer watches with a personal bias, be it orange, silver, scarlet, or papaya, and any sentence can be interpreted as favoritism. Bias, he argues, is the lens of the beholder. Still, he does not deny emotion. Thrilling battles spike his tone, epic story arcs raise his volume, and an underdog podium can make him roar. The charge is not nationalism, he insists, it is passion for narrative. Picture a control room that rivals a spacecraft cockpit. Nearly 120 camera angles, team radio snippets, and a torrent of live telemetry funneled to a remote hub in Biggin Hill, southeast of London. From this former Royal Air Force base, Formula One's World Feed team stitches together the images that every broadcaster receives. A jaw-dropping feat that takes only 6 seconds from track to TV. Commentators like Croft have zero control over which camera appears next. They react in real time to whatever the director selects. Around him, assistants juggle timing pages, pit lane whispers, and graphic overlays. A single missed cue can unravel the story of a race, so the flow of information must be as precise as a pit stop. That is why Croft believes asking drivers pointed questions is vital. It glues the off-track drama to the on-track tapestry the director weaves. Formula One history is littered with shock moves that once felt impossible. In 2013, Lewis Hamilton stunned the world by trading McLaren's familiarity for Mercedes' unknown potential, a leap that later yielded multiple titles. Drivers are competitors first and loyalists second. Performance, politics, and ambition steer their paths. Verstappen's current contract stretches through 2028, yet contracts in this sport are as firm as wet paint. A sudden engine rule twist, a boardroom reshuffle, or a record-breaking offer could redraw alliances overnight. Marko's public worry, therefore, is not baseless. It is a cautionary flare. For now, Verstappen repeats that he is staying put, but Croft vows to test that pledge whenever news demands. Reporters, he says, are the sport's guardrails against comfortable narratives. 2 weeks after the Saudi dust settled, Verstappen rocketed to victory at Suzuka, chalking up his 64th career win and slicing his championship deficit to a single point. Croft's commentary cracked with excitement, proof that curiosity does not dampen admiration. Next up is the heat haze of Miami, the Technicolor rush of Monaco, and the high-altitude knife edge of Mexico City. Each venue brings fresh pressure, fresh rumours and fresh opportunities for pointed questions. Croft will stride into every press conference with his weathered notebook, while Verstappen shoulders the expectations of legions draped in Dutch orange. Their dynamic, one inquisitive voice, one unflinching champion, has become part of Formula One's performing arts. Every jab of a microphone, every sly grin in response tightens the drama that keeps global audiences glued to their screens. The tense moment in Jeddah was never just a cheeky aside, it was a neon-bright signal that fearless questions keep the heart of Formula One pounding. Without reporters probing behind the horsepower, the paddock would devolve into press release monotony. David Croft understands that, and Max Verstappen, beneath the playful sting of his reply, likely does too. Their clash lit up social timelines not because it was hostile, but because it laid bare one of the sport's essential truths. Formula One is a high-speed soap opera stitched together by curiosity, ego, and adrenaline. Every pointed question adds a new stitch. Every guarded answer tugs the thread a little tighter. Look back through the decades and you will see the same pattern. From Michael Schumacher bristling at inquiries about driver orders, to Lewis Hamilton fielding whispers over contract standoffs, the tension between microphone and steering wheel has always heightened the spectacle. Fans crave lap time data and sector splits, but they also crave drama. Those fleeting sparks when a journalist's words collide with a driver's pride. Sometimes the resulting flash is warm camaraderie. Other times it smoulders for weeks, fueling debates in forum threads and podcast episodes. That is why this exchange matters. It reminds us that the show does not end when the engines switch off. It simply changes stage. In press rooms, hospitality units, and late-night Zoom briefings, narratives are hammered into shape, and every deft or defensive answer can shift a season's storyline. The next provocative question might reveal contractual tremors at a powerhouse team or expose its simmering tension between teammates fighting over the same slice of glory. Or it might simply draw out a champion's humour, offering a glimpse of personality behind the visor. So, when the camera light flickers red and the room falls into that breath-held hush, remember what hangs in the balance. The very act of asking, however uncomfortable, keeps the pulse of Formula One racing well beyond the checkered flag. The circuit may cool under floodlights, but the battle for truth, narrative and perception rages on, cornering just as fiercely as any carbon fibre rocket on Sunday afternoon. And somewhere, a microphone is already being raised again, ready to test the resolve of the next driver, daring enough to chase greatness under the relentless glare of global scrutiny.